Okay, we are live. Hello, guys. Welcome to the MMA KAY show. We're going to be going over basically. Hey, guys. Welcome to the MMA KAY show. We are going to be going over the UFC predictions for today. Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. Obviously, Kamaru Usman is moving up in weight to 185 for his second fight at 185. So we're going to be sharing the screen here, going through each matchup itself and kind of breaking each one down. Obviously, we have Dricus Du Plessis, 23-3. His three losses, I think, were before the UFC. His first loss in the UFC was to Khamzat Chimaev. Um, I'm also going to go into sort of the keys to victory for each of these fighters. So to start off with Dricus Du Plessis, I think he really has to just, embrace sort of the chaos, so to speak, right? Drive, he kind of thrives in the awkwardness with these like high-paced brawls. Like if you saw like the Israel Adesanya fight, the way he was moving in that fight, it almost looked like it was the end. Izzy does the Max Holloway point down, and then he goes and submits him. He needs to use like his unorthodox striking angles and relentless like forward pressure, I think, to keep Usman guessing and prevent him from like settling into some sort of rhythm, like you saw with Joaquin Buckley. Then the anti-wrestling. So Usman will likely like obviously look to grapple as well. Du Plessis, I think, can utilize strong defensive wrestling and scrambles to keep the fight on the feet quickly and get back up if he's taken down essentially. And I think the big thing there is with that is we saw him in the Khamzat Chimaev fight where he wasn't able to get down. I think also another key to victory for Dricus Du Plessis is to really test the gas tank of Kamaru Usman, right? Push a grueling pace early on to see how Usman's cardio holds up under heavy pressure at 185. Like we saw him in the Joaquin Buckley fight towards the last, like I'd say the last three rounds, he started to slow down a little bit. However, he mentioned something about this in his media day scrum where he talked about possibly testing out the waters a little bit more in the sense of like being able to measure his like his what do you call it, like his cardio, I guess, or his like energy in this fight with Dricus Du Plessis. But I think Dricus Du Plessis, if he can push that pace, he can go hard on him. Pause. If he can do all the stuff that he needs to do to kind of sorry, I'm just pulling up Tapology real quick. To really like make it a grueling fight, I think he has a better chance of success there. Let me just quickly pull up Tapology. 1 second. Um, okay. So I think for Kamaru Usman, I think what he needs to do really is focus on dictating the pace and basically don't get sucked into that wildfire fight, so to speak. He basically needs to slow the fight down, utilize a stiff, educated jab, which he has a really good jab, and manage the distance to neutralize Du Plessis' blitz and stuff like that. He needs to be heavy in the clinch and control, leaning on his like elite wrestling pedigree, pinning Du Plessis against the fence and securing top control will basically drain Du Plessis' energy as well and stifle his momentum. And then investing in the body shots early as well. I think in the beginning of the rounds, both with strikes and knees and in the clinch as well. I think those will pay dividends in the later rounds by taking the steam out of like Dricus Du Plessis, uh, especially his wild attacks and stuff like that. And we've noticed him like even afterwards, he's still pretty good at what he does. Let's take a look at their topology. So let's go to the strength of schedule is kind of the same, 76 and 75 for Usman. Here we can see um, he's got 9 wins by KO TKO, 1 loss by KO TKO, and then wins by submission with 1 loss by submission, and 3 decision wins with 1 decision loss. I do think he should have lost the first fight with Sean Strickland, but yeah, that's. another thing altogether. He's got 9 wins in the UFC with 1 loss so far. So I think he still has momentum, right? Like in his corner. And I also think if he's taken about a year off, and he said he had an injury, I think, back in January. I still think he can push that pace like he did before with Sean Strickland towards the end of the later ends of the first fight in the rounds, and even that second fight as well. But yeah, he has 2 wins against the current track champion, Sean Strickland, and then he has a win over Israel Adesanya, a win over Robert Whitaker, Derek Brunson, Darren Till, Brad Tavares. So he's looking pretty good. That fight with Trevin Giles, I think that was back in 2021. That was a McGregor Poirier fight. I remember being there as well, and he got on the mic and basically said, you know, those of you who don't know me, my name is Dricus Du Plessis, and I will one day be champ. And it was really, he had like a lot of charisma the way he said it as well. I thought it was pretty cool. And I was like, I didn't know who he was. I didn't even know how to say his name. That was my first time actually seeing him. And I was like, okay, interesting guy. I think Dricus Du Plessis, if he can stuff the takedowns and manage to like not worry about not have to worry about Usman's pressure and pace dictation, I think he can get. I think Dricus Du Plessis can get Kamaru Usman out in the third round. I think TKO, KO, TKO, one of those. So that's sort of my take on that fight. Let's go into the next fight. We have Jared Cannonier versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Now, Christian Leroy Duncan is a crafty striker. So let's get into the sort of keys to victory for both of them. I think for Jared, he needs to chop the tree basically. Duncan relies heavily on like dynamic movement. Cannonier needs to basically aggressively attack the calf and thigh with leg kicks early to limit Duncan's mobility, and then take away the foundation for his flashy strikes. We've seen this happen a lot with strikers who are really, really good in the game. And I'm going to have to go grab some water real quick. 1 second. I'll be right back. Because I was going to get cotton mouth immediately. So yeah, let me have a sip of water real quick. I think I left my my water bottle in the car, which is fine. Anyways, let's get crack into it. So with Jared Cannonier, I think also the cage generalship. Like I think if he walks Duncan down and cut off like the octagon, I think by trapping Duncan against the cage, Cannonier like basically removes the space needed for spinning attacks, really, and forces basically exchanges in the pocket where his power shines, so to speak. I think patience and counter striking as well for Duncan, letting Duncan throw those like high risk strikes and countering those with like heavy hands over the top. I think that's another key to victory for specifically Jared Cannonier. And then for Christian Leroy Duncan, I think if he stays on the outside, right, uses his length, footwork, his lateral movement to stay far away from Cannonier's devastating knockout power, I think he'll be fine there. Also, if you look at it, like Jared Cannonier is 42 years old, right? We have Christian Leroy Duncan. Let me actually check how old Christian Leroy Duncan is. Let me go back to Tapology real quick for a second. God, these Tapology has like so many. Yeah. So yeah, just to clarify, so he is 42, Jared Cannonier. Oops, 1 second. Okay, and then looking at Christian Leroy Duncan, he is 30 years old. So he's kind of in a prime spot, so to speak, with Jared Cannonier. If you look at some of Christian Leroy Duncan's like last a couple opponents, he's got Roman Dolidze, Marco Tulio, Eric Anders, and then Andre Polaev. I think Andre Polaev is the one that just lost against the other African guy, the Atiba Gautier fighter. So I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyways, I think if Christian Leroy Duncan can stay on the outside, I think he'll do good there. I think he also needs to use a volume of strikes as well as a variety of strikes as well, like straight punches, push kicks, unorthodox strikes to keep Cannonier basically off balance and rack up points from a safe distance, so to speak. And then I think he needs to like focus on hitting and moving, and never staying stationary after like a combination. Right? Duncan needs to like stick and move, avoid prolonged like exchanges in the pocket at all costs. I think these are the sort of the keys to victory for Christian Leroy Duncan, and I think this is a big step up for him as well. He's obviously from the UK. He's got like the reach advantage on the in the reach part of it as well. So, and I think let me double check the over under. Okay, so he's basically like almost a 400 minus 400 favorite, and he's like basically pretty much a plus 300 favorite. So that being said, I think Christian Leroy Duncan can get it done. However, if he's in the pocket with Jared Cannonier or finds himself in the pocket with Jared Cannonier, I think Jared Cannonier will pour it on him. That being said, I'm going to pick Christian Leroy Duncan for this fight. I think this is one of those fights where if Jared doesn't win the fight, it's going to be really crucial. I think Jared does need to win this fight to really continue to succeed, and I think I think his place in the UFC is kind of at a little bit of a, you know, turning point at the moment. I mean, he's coming off of like 3 losses in his last 4 fights. He won 1 fight against Gregory Rodrigues, but he lost to Nasruddin Imavov, Kyle Bahail, and Michael Venom Page. So I do think he's 11-9 right now in the UFC. So if he loses this fight, he'll be 11-10, which means he has 11 wins and 10 losses. So I do think this is a really crucial fight for Jared Cannonier. I think even for Christian Leroy Duncan, this is a big step up in competition. If you look at his last couple fights, he's basically fought Roman Dolidze, like I said earlier, Marco Tulio, Eric Anders, and Andre Pulev, but those are not guys that are on the level of Jared Cannonier. And Jared Cannonier also has fought for the title in the past against Israel Adesanya, so I think he's a worthy contender. I think this is a really interesting fight. Honestly, I'm looking forward to these first 3 fights on the main card, and especially the opening one as well. And I don't know if we are getting. Okay, opening bout. We're getting Ezra Elliott. It looks like. So Ezra Elliott, I thought he's from the Sugar Camp, and so I thought he's probably not. He was supposed to do. He was supposed to have a fight against this other guy that we haven't seen in a while. Anyways, let's crack on. We have Chase Hooper, and we have Mitch Ramirez. I keep confusing Mitch Ramirez with Mitch Raposo for some reason. I don't know why. But Chase Hooper, unfortunately, hasn't looked too good as of late. He's lost his last 2 fights. One against Lance Gibson Jr. and one against Alexander Hernandez, who just lost his fight as well against Rafa Garcia. So that being said, Chase is not really young anymore. He's like 26. He's still young in terms of like UFC age, but he's been like fighting in the UFC for a while now. So I do think that he has to like. These are one of those fights where he has to kind of change it up. I mean, coming off a 2-fight losing streak is not good for him. And then we have obviously, you know, is it Raposo? What's his name? Mitch Ramirez, sorry, who's also coming off of 2 losses, one to Thiago Moises and one to Mike Davis as well. And he got finished in those 2 last fights as well. So that's not good for him. He's currently at 0-2 in this fight. So this is a must win for both of these guys. However, I think for Chase Hooper to win the fight, he has to close the distance safely because he's got some awkward striking. He needs to use that rangy striking strictly as like a vehicle to safely enter the clinch and avoid basically heavy damage on the way in. And I think that's also a key for him as well. I think the chain wrestling to submissions as well. Once he gets a hold of Ramirez, Hooper needs to like relentlessly chain his takedown attempts. And if he can get the fight to the mat, I think his world-class jiu-jitsu should be able to take over ideally. And then also if he can try and take his back and look for opportunities to take his back in scrambles or as Ramirez maybe shoots a desperate takedown. For Mitch Ramirez, I think he needs to sprawl and brawl. Ramirez, I think primary objective should be to keep the fight standing with his elite takedown defense and immediate separation from clinches. I think are going to be mandatory for him, and he needs to exploit the striking advantage, right? So Hooper's stand-up is still developing. Ramirez needs to like basically walk Hooper down, apply heavy pressure, and land crisp, damaging boxing combinations in the pocket. I think he also needs to punish Hooper for takedown attempts, like make Hooper basically pay for every shot by landing heavy uppercuts or knees as he changes levels and stuff like that. those are like the keys to victory, I believe, for these two guys. That being said, I do think Chase Hooper will bring it out in this fight and somehow get the win. I'm not too familiar with Mitch Ramirez. I wanted to say Raposo again, but yeah, that's I'm picking Hooper for this fight. So let's go to the next one. I believe this is a last minute replacement for Fatima Kline. I think she was supposed to fight someone else before Tabatha Ricci. Let me have a quick look at what that was, because I'm pretty sure she was supposed to fight, and she's the one that's also in the she's in a relationship with that Irish boxer as well that Dana likes a lot. Yeah, Amanda Ribas is the one that Fatima Kline was supposed to be fighting. Now, Fatima Kline basically has 4 wins by KO and 1 win by submission, with 4 decision wins and 1 decision loss. She's 4-0 currently in the UFC, so she's doing really, really well. She previously fought Angela Hill, Melissa Martinez, Victoria Dudakova. Sorry, I was trying to say the one Dicheva, but and she also lost her, I think her debut to Jasmine Jasavicius. So I think she does have 1 loss in the UFC. I'm not too sure. I think that might be a typo on Tapology. Anyways, let's look at her opponent real quick, Tabatha Ricci. Tabatha Ricci recently had that fight with Verna Jandiroba, who just fought for the title against Mackenzie Dern, who's going to be fighting for the title or defending her title pretty soon. But Tabatha Ricci's right now 7-4 in the UFC. Out of her last 4 fights, she's got 2 wins and 2 losses. One to Yaonan Shen, Xiaonan, the Chinese fighter. She has a win over Angela Hill as well, and a win over Amanda Ribas. So, yeah, I can't say the Asian lady's name, unfortunately. But yeah, she's pretty good, honestly. I think for her, I think with the sort of keys to victory is like her judo and her top pressure. She needs to initiate like those tie-ups and utilize like her judo tosses and trips to get the fight on the mat, I think. Then obviously apply heavy top control and stifle Kline's offense essentially. If she can use her overhand rights, looping overhand rights to cover the distance, back Kline up and seamlessly transition into a takedown entry, I think that's going to be a winning factor for her as well. And then she just needs to kind of grind it out, turn the fight into a grueling, physical battle in the clinch and on the ground, and wear basically Kline's cardio down. I think for Fatima Kline, though, I think she needs to use her footwork, her jabs, teep kicks to keep Ricci at bay and prevent her from like closing the distance to initiate the grappling exchanges. I think she needs to also I think Fatima Kline also needs to use her hips as well, right? So if Ricci does secure a takedown, I think Kline must immediately look for sweeps, submissions off her back, or use the cage to scramble back to her feet, and rather than accepting the bottom position and circle out. I think she also needs to I don't think she ever needs to retreat going straight backwards into the fence, but I think she just needs to circle out instead of doing that. I think what happens is if she does circle straight backward, then it just plays perfectly into Ricci's cage wrestling game plan. So that's kind of where I'm looking at these 2 fights. Now the next fight I'm excited about. So this one's the opening of the main card. We have Tommy McMillan. Everyone's really high. Everyone's really high on Tommy McMillan. He's 10-0, and you have Alberto Montes, who's 12-1. Both of them are coming off a win. Montes kind of looks like, and a lot of people are saying this as well, but Montes really does look like a Ilia Topuria in a way. You know what I mean? Like he has that Topuria type of physique, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or yeah, if you guys agree or not. Let me know about it, by the way, down in the comments below what you think about these breakdowns so far. I am normally going for more for a vibe check on these guys, but I try to be do a little bit more research beforehand and kind of give you guys what my ideas are. Obviously, Tommy McMillan, he has 4 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by submission and 1 decision win as well. We saw his first fight in the UFC, which is really good, against Manalo Zaccini. I think it's Italian guy. But yeah, that was a crazy first round. And that one I think even got fight of the night. He's not really ranked yet on Tapology for his sort of strength of schedule so far, but Alberto Montes basically, he has 1 win by KO and 1 loss by KO or TKO, 7 wins by submission. He's done a lot of recent I think it's the Darce he did recently. He's done a lot of Darces and a lot of like submission wins as well. He's got 3 wins by decision. He's 1-0 right now in the UFC as well. He just fought Ricky Tercios and did the Darce choke. Got 2 Anaconda chokes in his last 2 fights as well before that. So this guy is really, really good and pretty dangerous when it comes to the grappling game. I think for him, he needs to basically weather the first round because Montes' biggest key to victory is simply like surviving McMillan's notorious early onslaught. I think he needs to stay defensively sound, keep his guard high, and also circle away from the power early and drag him into deep waters. If Montes can extend the fight into the second and third rounds, I think he can capitalize on potentially fading McMillan, who is used to early nights at the office. And I heard Red Hawk MMA, or Red Hawk, the Sean O'Malley's coach, and he was talking about this as well. He said McMillan is ready for the 3 rounds, but we never know when you get into the fight, right? It can completely change. I think he also needs to exploit the over-aggression. Look for calculated counter strikes and opportunistic takedowns when McMillan overcommits on heavy combinations. However, I think for Tommy McMillan, him being from like the Sean O'Malley camp, it's kind of unfortunate because he's not going to have any of those guys in his corner. I think Sean O'Malley said he's doing something, and then I think Sean O'Malley's coach is basically expecting a baby or whatever. I don't know why I forgot his name. I usually know his name, but basically he needs to unleash the early storm with like 9 of his 10 victories coming by way of first round finish. McMillan also needs to like aggressively swarm Montes from the opening bell, which is what he did in his last fight as well. If he utilizes full mobility, like having final, yeah, I think he can use like the high volume striking, overall Montes with output and pace on the feet before he has a chance to settle into the fight. If he can do that against Montes, I think that's one of his paths to victory as well. And I think he should take advantage of his fully restored like movement and grappling abilities because he's recently had sciatica, which he had like a 2-year sciatica nerve injury that previously caused severe numbness and limited his training as well. So I think if he's recovered from that, he can use that grappling against Montes, which will be ideally a decent game plan, especially if it goes into the second round or the third round. Okay, let's go into the prelims. So I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but I'm pretty sure these guys are not on the main card. I believe these guys are not on the main card. I believe they are they're on the opening of the prelims as well. And I don't know exactly how many fights we have on this card, but I really like Jose Delgado personally. I think he lost that last fight against Andre Philly, Touchy Philly. However, he won by split decision that last fight against Andre Philly. He lost his fight before that to Nathaniel Wood. He knocked out Hyder Emil, which was insane to me, in 26 seconds. He won against Conor Matthews, and he won his contender series against Ernie Juarez. So he's a pretty good fighter. He's only 28 years old at the moment. His opponent is 11-2, Austin Bashi. Why does it say 14-1? Okay, that's weird. No, yeah, he is 14-1. I apologize. Okay, my bad. He's got 3 wins by KO, TKO, 6 wins by submission, 5 wins by decision, 1 loss by decision as well. He's currently 1-1 in the UFC. Um, he won against John Yanis in the last fight with a rear naked choke. He also had a loss against Christian Rodrigues, which was I think his UFC debut. However, he's a pretty good fighter in my opinion. Like I think, I think with his heavy like wrestling pressure, he can basically utilize his strong wrestling to chain takedowns together and keep Delgado grounded. I think his pace and conditioning, he can maintain a relentless basically pace for all 3 rounds as well, testing Delgado's ability to constantly defend as well. For Jose Delgado, though, I think if he could survive that early storm, he'll undoubtedly basically have like Bashi's hunting for takedowns early, but Delgado like can defend them and survive the initial wrestling exchanges. Then I think he's okay. I think also he needs to utilize his size and reach as well. As the fight progresses, I think Delgado should use distance management and striking to capitalize on any like failed takedown attempts by Bashi. Maybe even use some of those uppercuts, some of those knees as well. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Um, let's go into the next fight. So I heard this guy, the South Korean guy. I heard he's actually really, really popular in on YouTube and in South Korea. In fact, I was looking at his page the other day, and I forgot what it was called. Let me double check. I had I was listening to some podcasts and then I had I think it was MMA Guru who was talking about it, and I looked it up, and he has like over like 4 million subscribers. He's really, really popular. He doesn't speak any English, unfortunately, but he's very, 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 very popular. Um, Especially on YouTube. Let me have a look real quick. Just bear with me. Um, Shit. Nah, I don't have. I can't find him on YouTube. Let me do one thing real quick. I remember his YouTube channel was like something very specific. Um, and he even did like during Fight Week, International Fight Week, he did a lot of like he did a lot of like videos and embedded. Let me see if I can find it. I thought it was interesting as well. Um, I am not finding it, unfortunately. Fudge. I wish I would have remembered. I just thought it was cool as well. Okay, let's get into it. So, in terms of this fight, I saw G Paul in Houston, Texas, and so I was pretty excited about him. Um, Sorry, guys, I don't know what's happening. Okay, it's getting a little hot here, but I have the jacket on, so I don't know why I'm complaining. Okay, so Gene Paul, he's from Hermosa Beach, California. I think he's like a lifelong martial artist, if I'm not mistaken. He won against Phil Rowe, and then he also won his contender series against Jack Congdon. However, he won against Phil Rowe by split decision. He's 7-1 in LFA, which is pretty good. Um, there's something about his dad. I don't remember exactly what it is. Let me see if I have it somewhere. Um, Labois Yanni basically should leverage his lifelong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu experience, having trained since age 3 to get the fight to the mat and hunt for a submission. So that's basically his like entire experience. If he stays composed, he needs to basically trust his process and avoid putting unnecessary pressure on himself to hunt for a specific outcome, staying present in the moment. So I think he has a lot of things like that with Soy Konyo Yoko. I don't know how I say that. He needs to basically keep it standing. He must prioritize like takedown defense and avoid tangling with Laboshiani or Jean Paul. Let's just say Jean Paul. Elite ground game. And he can also dictate the range, and by managing the distance, forcing striking exchanges, Ko can basically neutralize Jean Paul's grappling advantages. So I think that's sort of the keys to victory for these two guys. For this one, I'm going to go with Jean Paul, given that he's from the U.S. and he has like that elite grappling since he was like 3 years old. I think that's going to help him in this if he can if he can take the fight down to the ground. With Ko, he basically, let me see if I can find anything on him. I think he's got 6 wins by KO TKO and 2 losses by KO TKO, but no losses by or wins by submission. He's got 7 decision wins. So I don't know. He might go to decision, or he might try to get the KO TKO in the first or second round. He's also fought Phil Rowe as well, and Obon Elliott, and Igor Cavalcanti on the Contender Series as well. So yeah, these are 2 really good fighters. It's just the grappler versus the striker, and I think Jean Paul being such a good grappler, I think he can get the dub on this one. I do like, the striking more in my personal opinion, but let's see what happens in this one. Okay, this was interesting. So I don't know who Levi Rodrigues Jr. is, but let me see if I can find his record on Topology. Okay, so it says he's 5-0. He looks like a big dude, like a big Brazilian baby monster is his nickname. He's 29 years old. He's got 3-0 wins, 0 wins and 0 losses in the Contender Series, which you got no contest. Okay, interesting. Okay, he got overturned to no contest, which is fascinating. Yeah, I don't really know much about him, so it's hard to pick. Let's see his Felipe Franco, his opponent. Is it Felipe Franco? Yeah, who's 10-1 right now out of Brazil. So both of these guys out of Brazil. Brazil on Brazil crab, you know what I'm saying? 6 wins by KO TKO, 4 submission losses with 1 loss by submission. He's got 1 loss by decision. He's 0-1 in the UFC and on the Contender Series as well. Lost by a rear naked choke to Freddie Vidal, 25 in 2025. This guy has a lot of, obviously, like, more experience than the other guy, right? Like, Felipe has more experience than Levi Rodrigues, but I think Levi Rodrigues can get it done. If I'm being honest with you guys, I don't know too much about them, so I'm just gonna kind of like read off what my notes were. Since it's light heavyweight, I think Levi basically could. Okay, so Levi Rodrigues has 100% finishing rate. I'm just seeing that now. He should basically swarm him early and use his Muay Thai background to hunt for a knockout and pressure striking to back up Franco and land devastating punches, power punches in the pocket to keep the momentum on his side. If Felipe Franco were to win this fight, he needs the takedown threat. So he needs to use his grappling to drag Rodrigues Jr. to the mat and neutralize his striking threat and avoid early firefights. Like staying composed and extending the fight into the later rounds is crucial, basically, as Rodrigues Jr. is like notorious for first round finishers. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Rodrigues in this fight. I think it's gonna be a slobber knocker. It's gonna be actually a really good fight. So I'm more excited about this fight after doing that. Okay, we got Alden Correa versus Stuart Nicole. I am not too familiar with these guys. However, I think Stuart Nicole has got like relentless wrestling, basically. Um, he's got an 0-3 UFC record as well, but Nicole must find a way to get Correa to the mat at all costs to save his roster spot. So I think this is kind of do or die for him. Control over attempts. So he basically needs to focus on securing meaningful position control if he gets the takedown, and rather than expending his energy on empty attempts to that leave him vulnerable to damage, he just needs to focus on basically being Khamzat Chimaev of this flyweight division. And then for Alden Correa, he basically needs to defend the takedowns um, and keep the fight on the feet, use his knockout power against his opponent, and yeah, I think he can. I think he can. I think Alden Correa can win this fight on the feet because it all starts in the feet anyway. So I'm gonna pick Alden Correa in this fight. I would say probably first round finish unless Stuart Nicole can get it down. I think Alden Correa will get it done in the first round. First round TKO. I mean, look at that. Look at the line there. Minus 1100 favorite, plus 700. So it's not an easy fight for this guy. Okay, we have RJ Harris, which is a heavyweight bout. Two look like dad bod heavyweighters. Let's see. So Alvin Hines is currently 34 years old. His nickname is Goozy. He's got 3 wins by KO and by 3 wins by submission as well. 1 win by decision. He's 0-1 in the UFC currently. He's also lost to Jonata Dinez, and that's basically his UFC debut. It looks like RJ Harris. Let's have a look here. All right, he's 5-0, 27 years old, also born in October. It looks like his UFC debut here. So I'm gonna go with the debut in the UFC debut in. I'm gonna pick RJ Harris. RJ Harris seems like a more stronger candidate right now in this particular fight. If RJ Harris can basically use his chain wrestling, um, he can rely on that wrestling background, close the distance, and look for the favorite double leg basically, and then use his and then find his opportunities in the clinch or on the ground, and try to hunt for a submission, whether it's a neck and arm attack or um, yeah, I mean he's already secured those 3 submissions that we shared on the Tapology as well. And then Alvin Hines needs to use his volume striking basically to kind of get RJ Harris out of there in the first round and punish him for takedown entries as well with like knees or uppercuts and stuff like that as well. That's kind of where I'm at with these 2 fights. Okay, let's get into the second to last fight on the prelims. So this is Anna Malasano versus Dione Barbosa. Now, from what I've studied, Anna Malasano needs to basically stick and move, right? Malasano basically must keep the fight on the open space, utilizing combinations and leg kicks while staying off the fence and defend the clinch. She needs to basically avoid Barbosa's judo ties at all costs. Spending time in the clinch or on her back will basically drain her entire energy and cost her rounds. And this could be a really boring fight if that is truly the case there. However, with Dione Barbosa, she basically just needs to close the distance. So basically the opposite of that. Close the distance, use a judo background. Force the clinches, execute trips or takedowns, use her top control to maintain heavy pressure, and look for a submission aggressively as possible, or in the scrambles itself. Okay, I'm excited for this next fight. So I don't know if I picked someone for these 2 fights yet. Oh, I did. I think I picked RJ Harris. For this one, uh, let me just have a quick look real quick at Topology. Oh, Anna Melisano is American as well. I just realized that. I'm gonna go with Barbosa. I'm gonna go with Barbosa by second round submission for now. Okay. For this one, oh shit. What I do? I might have clicked too much. Oh my god. What is going on? Come on. What the fuck is this, huh? Oh, I think it doesn't have anything on them. Okay, let's look at Tapology. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up on Tapology. So I've heard great things about Ezra Elliott from the Sean O'Malley camp. Now Ezra Elliott is from that camp. Let's look at this guy first. Damien Anderson. So Damien Anderson's 5-0. See, I don't know any of these guys. It doesn't tell me much about him, if I'm being honest. Let's look at his opponent. It says demon hands, so I'm assuming that he's got hands. I did do a little bit of research, so we'll look at that in a second as well. All right. Ezra Elliott, it's got 2 wins by KO, 5 wins by submission. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look. He's 7-0, and his opponent is 5-0. Now I heard from these guys, he's always in the gym, Ezra Elliott. So I'm gonna go back to this. Now, if you guys didn't know, you guys can go ad free for $2.99 a month on Tapology. I'm not sponsored by them. However, I'm gonna read to you guys some of the stuff I have for Ezra Elliott. So Ezra Elliott basically needs to keep it standing. Elliott basically possesses like both submission and knockout skills. Utilizing his striking is the safest path to victory for him against a high-level grappler. Sorry. Distance management, he must stay on the outside and avoid the clinch, denying Anderson the opportunity to initiate his elite grappling sequences. And then Damien Anderson basically needs to he has elite jiu-jitsu, right? So as a pure grappler who trained at B Team Jiu-Jitsu, Anderson needs to basically quickly close the distance and drag Elliott to the mat. He needs to hunt for a submission quite early and rely on his grappling pedigree to find a submission. And this is a short notice fight for Damien Anderson, moving up a weight division as well to featherweight. So he's usually a bantamweight fighter as well. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for this entire segment of the predictions video. If you haven't already liked or subscribed, please do like and subscribe. We hit 165 subscribers so far. I am going to try and get some people on. I don't know if you guys know Rob Nakamura. He has a podcast. Let me just have a look at it. What it's called again? Because I actually watched his last one. And he does it with let me double check real quick. He does it with this other guy as well. And I also met someone else at the gym as well that we might do something with. Let me just Fully Hydrated is his podcast. So definitely check it out. Let me just quickly plug that for you guys. 1 second. So I'm gonna be having him on for the Serbia card. So yeah, his is here, the Fully Hydrated podcast. Show him some love, give him some subs. We're gonna do a collaboration. We'll probably do a video recording, not go live, and then we'll probably just post it to both of our pages, little bits and pieces of it. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that for the Serbia card, which is let me double check when that Serbia card is coming up. Okay, that's August 1st. So we'll be doing uh like a prediction show for that. You got Medic versus Rodrigues on that fight card. Let's actually look at the fight card itself real quick. We'll have Juris Medic versus Daniel Rodrigues, Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. I don't even know if that fight's still in actually there because Bogdan just took that fight with what's his name? Didn't he just take the fight with Ankalaev, Magomed? Yeah, he took the fight with Ankalaev. So I don't know if they're still doing that matchup. That's interesting. We have Alexander Rakic on his heavyweight debut against Marcin Tybura. I think he's gonna do well against Marcin Tybura, and then Dusko Tudovic versus Robert Valentin. I like Robert Valentin, honestly. He's pretty dope. I don't know if I said that correctly, anyways, but doesn't matter. Well, it does, but yeah. And then we got Open Elliott versus Michael Oliveira. Who else? Sorry, I recognize here. Bogdangrad. Two Bogdans, huh? Matush Rebecki. Kyle Prepolek. This is gonna be a cool fight card. What do we got coming up for this week? We got. Let's have a look real quick. We have Ankalaev versus Guskov. I wonder if they're gonna put Khalil Roundtree against Jan Blachowicz. That'd be interesting. We got Steve Erceg versus Ramazan Tamarov. That's interesting. Wellington Turman. Oh, this guy is dope. Islam Dulatov. I think he's the guy who knocked out his opponent like in the beginning of his last fight. Khabib's cousin here. Tyra Fortune, Rizvan Kuniev. That's a good matchup because they're 8 and 9. Axel Sola. I believe he's a good one too. Ishmael Bonfim. Walter Walker. I like Walter Walker. Thomas Peterson. Dude, Walker's in a fucking ankle off this dude. Or definitely submit him. Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby's been doing really good as of late. Santiago Pazanibio. I can't believe this guy's still fighting, actually, now I think about it. Sam Patterson. Interesting. That's an interesting matchup. We got Brendan Rivera versus Magomed. Okay, this guy looks like it's probably his debut. And then Mike Davis. All right, this is going to be an interesting matchup as well. This is in the Etihad Arena. Yes, Alden. Interesting. What do we have after this? I'm just curious. Okay, then we have the August 1st one. That's going to be a good one. Oh, August 8th is nice. Garamat versus Salkild. August 15th, I'll probably be in the different state for that one. But we got Makachev versus Machado Gary. And then Fluffy Hernandez. Wow, these are good fight cards coming up. September 5th is possibly going to be. I don't know if they're going to do the Tom Aspinall fight with Cyril Gahn. I'm pretty sure they won't. But yeah, guys, definitely give Rob Nakamura a shout out on his page. He's going to be joining me soon. And like I said, I have the other guy from the gym as well who will be joining me, who does a lot of betting on UFC and stuff like that. So it'll be pretty cool. Cool, guys. All right. All right, Shade. I'm taking a look at what you're saying here. Actually, this microphone was a gift to me, so I do apologize. But yeah, I can definitely change it up. I'll change it up on the next show. I'll just change it up right now. Yeah, is that better? Is that how it's supposed to be? That's good. You told me that, by the way. I appreciate it because I was just like, I didn't know that. So, also, I wasn't using well, I was using a different mic before this, so that's good. You told me that. Also, who do you got on the DDP versus the DDP versus Usman? I just shared my breakdown right now. But I'm glad you told me that. Now I can use it better and don't have to look so awkward with it as well. I feel like it looks like a little bit of a penis, if I'm being honest with you guys. So that's why I didn't do it this way. But yeah, you're right. I should use it like that properly. All right. Yeah, let me know. And we're going to be hopping off. If you guys haven't seen my last video that I did, which was about Paddy Pimblett, it was just my reaction to Paddy Pimblett in the fight. It was because my friend was like saying, Colin was essentially saying that, Paddy sucks and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of rude. He also said Justin Gaethje sucks, which I also thought was rude. Okay, just buckled my knee there. But yeah, bro, if you're still in there, Shade, let me know. Cookie Monster Trader, let's do it. Yeah, definitely. Do you got to mail them to me? How do we do that? Can you give me cookies on the stream? How do I? Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right. I like the cookies, bro. Since you're joining, who do you have on the main event for the Usman versus DDP fight? All the way out. Yeah. Let me know. Yeah, go ahead. What you want to know. Pretty sure you're going to be trolling me, but go ahead. I'll let you type it right now. While I do that, I'm going to go and pull up a video. Yeah, someone's driving fast. Okay, I'm queuing up the next video. I'm going to kind of keep it going. I think this is a better time to be doing this. What's your, you said, okay. Why is it Conor never won since Artem left? Maybe because he was his training partner. Or maybe because he was like his main training partner and he needed someone more like Artem as well. You know what? It's crazy because if you talk about the Conor stuff, I did a whole video on this as well. Like shameless plug here about the whole situation and how I felt about it. But it was hard for me because like at the end of the day, I love Conor McGregor, regardless of what people say or the way like I had like my best friend like recently sending me like memes and videos about the whole situation and trying to piss me off about the whole situation. And I was like, yeah, not cool. But it just sucks, man. With him, it's like had he continued to like fight and be active or like train and not abuse his body, I think it would have been so much better. I think his issue is there's actually a video. Let me actually share this with you real quick. I'll get into your next question or your next prediction in a second. Let me just pull this up because this is actually really interesting. I actually saved it for doing a live, but I just thought it was so fascinating to watch and to see what the person said. And like I'm big on the nervous system and stuff like that, and that's basically what this guy was talking about. And he was saying that it wasn't McGregor's like thing that messed him up, but it was like more of his nervous system. So, fuck. How do I? Okay, I'll just okay. Let me pause it, and then let me share my screen. Let me just go into your message real quick. What you said. DDP most likely wins. Usman is just too old, and his knees are absolutely horrendous. I want Usman to win just for the blast from the past, but in reality, DDP will probably look really good. Oh, dude, I actually agree with you. I actually think DDP is gonna win by third round TKO or KO. That's why I put in there. I just see him taking Usman up against the fence and just knocking him out with just all that pressure and stuff like that. The crazy thing is Conor's flying roadhouse kick ended up KOing Holloway. People would be calling him a genius. and claiming he is better than ever. Yeah, that is so true. I think he just overshot it. American fans are like prostitutes with their loyalty. Yeah, that's me, man. Fuck. um, way to expose me, huh? Let's go into it. So this is actually a really interesting video, and I'm not trying to like make excuses for Conor, but I just thought it was fascinating. Let's watch it. Oh, fuck me, man. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Let me just redo this. How do I get to no, 1 second? Let me just see if I can pull this video up in a different way. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this up right now. And I'll get into your comments in a second as well. Okay, let's go.
The breakdowns you've seen of why this happened to Conor McGregor are completely wrong. It wasn't his age, and it wasn't just structural failure. This entire situation could have been prevented.
Oh, fuck me, man.
But this was a strategy flaw from him and his coaching staff. His body didn't simply give out, his nervous system failed to regulate. After 5 years outside the cage, he entered the fight in a state of extreme anticipatory hyperarousal. Following a walkout with tens of thousands of people screaming, lights flashing, and music blaring, his system was flooded with catecholamines. But instead of managing distance and allowing himself to settle into the fight, he chose an explosive, chaotic movement to start. People will say it's a cage fight. They're always full of adrenaline, but that's missing the point. There's a massive difference between the anticipatory hyperarousal before the opening bell and the regulated sympathetic state fighters reach once they've settled into the fight. Active fighters possess neurological habituation. Their nervous systems have physically adapted to the stimulus through constant exposure. Because he rushed without that habituation, his central nervous system remained deafened. The brain was muting internal sensory feedback to focus entirely on the external threat. He was flying blind with zero proprioceptive fidelity. When he planted his leg, he entered the amortization phase. To survive high-velocity deceleration, your quadriceps and hamstrings must co-contract perfectly. But due to CNS disruption, the braking was delayed by fractions of a millisecond. That coordination failed. The tibia translated forward under load. The ACL absorbed the remaining force and it ruptured. The injury was biomechanical, but the sequence that created it was neurological. The breakdowns you've seen of why this happened.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about that? I just thought it was interesting. I also think it's quite valid. I also think he just needs momentum. Like he talked about this a lot. Shout out to this guy, by the way, Cam Goodson. But yeah, I think he just needed more and more. What do you call it? Like I think he needs more momentum in this particular case. I also don't really like his game plan going in that way, the way he did, to try and knock out like Holloway. But yeah, for those of you guys who are just joining, please do give a like to the video and subscribe. We basically just hit 165 subscribers. So yeah, I do appreciate it. And we're going to go into a little bit of the video that DDP did, unless you guys want to share more thoughts and stuff like that. We're going to go into the video that DDP did with Scott Fontana. I thought this guy actually asked a lot of good questions, which is why I like it. So we'll go ahead and get into it. It's from the New York Post sports podcast, or I guess YouTube channel. So we'll check it out right now. Ready?
Cage. Scott Fontana here again with Dricus Du Plessis, the former UFC middleweight champion, who on Saturday is back in the cage for the first time in nearly a year when he faces former welterweight champ Kamaru Usman in Oklahoma City.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just going to have a look at your message. That's crazy thing. Conor's flying roundhouse kick ended up KOing. Yeah, I remember that one. I agree with this doctor guy. I don't think he had anything to do. It had anything to do with age or being washed. Yeah, I think age definitely has to do with it because he's 38. Well, he's turning 39, right? Already. I think it could have been avoided with momentum. Reminds me of Pantoja, who is the same age as McGregor. Yeah, but I think Pantoja has been more active. And the other thing too with McGregor is the way he didn't give himself any second to like settle into the fight or into the octagon itself. He just went in and just basically blazed that like crazy kick. Thanks to Conor's faith, his prophecy came true. Max didn't lay a glove on him. I was kind of laughing about that. That is funny. That is funny. He didn't lay a glove on him. You're not gonna lay a glove on me, yeah? Okay, let's get back into this real quick. I just stopped for there for a second to read your comments. But if you do have any more comments, feel free. And I'll just keep pausing in between.
So listen, guy, it's been about a year since we talked, right? Like I'd heard rumblings of this Usman fight, months before it was announced, I think. I mean, obviously you've talked.
Oh, real quick, let me know. Shade, let me know about the mic. Is it better, the audio itself, or is it just better in general?
Talked before already about the fact that, Kamaru didn't want to sign the contract to fight you. Have you heard anything though about like why it took so long?
I have no idea. I mean, I'll probably find out, but I have no idea why it took so long. I don't necessarily think it's about a situation of him being scared to fight. I just think that, for him making one last run at the title at middleweight, I heard that he was wanting the fight with Makhachev. That might have been something that he's been waiting on. Under no circumstances do I think it's him being scared. He's faced high-level fighters for way too long to be scared of anyone else. So, and Kamaru Usman, we all know, is a guy that's always game for anyone. I believe it was maybe at middleweight going a different route, somebody that fits his style a bit more, like more of a striking, heavy guy, and maybe waiting for that shot at 170. But regardless, here we are. I mean, it's for me, I was preparing. I had more than enough time that I knew that we got confirmation for the fight, but he hasn't signed. But it wasn't just about fighting him. That was my preference, but I was training, so I was ready for anybody to show up on the night.
Sure. And it's funny you say that too. The style that he may have preferred. And again, you're speculating here, but you're coming off a fight that obviously, as you took a lot of flack for the way the wrestling kind of looked there. In theory, someone with his wrestling chops might find that to be interesting, as much as you obviously talked about how you worked on that. I do want to ask you though, because again, you talked about rounding out that skill set in the wake of that fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Tell me about kind of the plan your team put together to build out that facet of your game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like people are going, oh, you can't wrestle. Look at my fight career. I can wrestle. I can't grapple. Look at my amount of submissions. The
funny thing about Dricus Du Plessis is like he talks about like not having excuses when it comes to Khamzat Chimaev, talking about like his weight cutting, which I obviously agree with him on that. But like his coach was the one in the aftermath of his loss to Khamzat Chimaev, basically suggesting that like they thought that Khamzat did a boring fight. They thought that Khamzat didn't come to fight. Khamzat did this, Khamzat did that. And it felt like to me, they were just focused on the entire wrong thing. It felt like they weren't focusing on the fact that they lost and that they didn't have the right game plan. Like they just wanted to blame Khamzat Chimaev for his strategy, which is obviously a great strategy because he won the fucking fight. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why his coach was doing that. Not a big fan of his coach either. He looks kind of weird, in my opinion. Nothing against South Africans. Some of my good friends are South African, over here in Austin, Texas. So, yeah, not to dox myself, but let's go.
You can say Kamaru Usman can grapple. He has one submission win. I have 11.
Sure.
Over black belts. That fight, it wasn't the.
Yeah, let's just watch how you said, I love it.
Sure.
Over black belts. That fight, it wasn't the fact that.
Sure.
Usman can grapple. He has one submission win. I have 11.
Oh, he said I have 11. Usman has one submission win and DDP has 11. Okay, I thought he said I love it. So I thought that was hilarious. But anyways, let's carry
on. Sure. Over black belts. That fight, it wasn't the fact that I couldn't.
Bro, you're former world champion, bro. Get a better fucking phone, man. Holy shit.
Grapple, the takedown, stopping the takedowns has never been an issue. Like, you get taken down, it's fine. But I was fighting an opponent who was willing to go, we are making this static. I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm just going to lie on top of him. And that was the mistake that I made. I thought we are going to fight. Not just fight, striking, try and take each other's heads off. But even on the ground, scramble. He didn't go for one submission, not even once. And that's what I was prepared for. Going for the chokes, going for the transitions. He didn't try that. He just stayed on top, landed a lot of strikes, but they didn't do any damage. Just do enough to stay on top.
Bang you up.
I didn't expect that. I thought we were going to have a war like people pay to actually watch. So I think that was the mistake, being prepared for that, because physically, and people realize fighting me that for 5 rounds, if you're going to come and fight me, you have to be able to keep that up for 5 rounds if we are going to have a brawl. or just a scramble fight. And good on him. Smart move. Not something that I would do as a warrior that has integrity to the sport. But so that was the problem. It's not the fact that I can't wrestle or grapple or that I was lacking. It was the fact that I was expecting, it was a game plan problem from me and my whole team. We were expecting a different fight.
Oh, fudge nuts. My bad. Okay. Yeah. Let's get back into it. That definitely caught me off guard. Yeah, okay.
Holes, man.
Anyways, let's go back into it. So I like the fact that he's taking accountability for his lack of game plan. However, it just seems kind of stupid to me. Like if you're going into a fight with Khamzat Chimaev, you've seen all his like fights prior to that. Like, how do you not expect him to grapple you or grapple fuck you? You know what I mean? I don't know if I can even say that word, but fuck it. Like, yeah. KMS TV, by the way, bro, are you in? Let me know. Let me know if you're in the comments, and don't forget to like the video if you don't mind, and subscribe as well. Thank you for one of the subscribers. I think we got an extra subscriber now. We're at 166. Let's carry on.
Sure. But I think you did at least comment on kind of the idea in the lead up to this fight that you guys have tried to work on rounding out your game even further, right? You consider yourself to be a well-rounded fighter, but this seemed to have been at least another point where you wanted to put a little bit of extra emphasis in. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what's so great about the loss, is the fact that my goal in life is to be the most complete and greatest MMA fighter of all time. Without this loss, I would have never known that I needed that specific area of this game worked on. Mm-hmm. And now I know. Now I'm better. Now I'm better because of it. And that's the most important part. Now, the loss is in the past, but this fight is in the future. And what I've learned from that loss is the most important part.
So what would you kind of rate as far as your knowledge base, especially in some of those departments that you didn't realize that you weren't as far along and advanced in? What kind of is the difference in your knowledge base compared to then and now?
Well, I mean, it's not physical.
Yeah, so I think with his obviously he took a lesson there from that fight with Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, regarding Diego Lopes, who's moving up to lightweight, I heard rumors he's going to be fighting possibly Arman Tsarukyan. Let me see if I can pull that up, because I did comment on that earlier today. But I don't know if I saved it. Let me see if there was one. There was rumors of him possibly fighting Diego Lopes, possibly fighting Arman Tsarukyan, or obviously Charles Oliveira is the one that we all know about. I do think the Charles Oliveira fight would be sick for the BMF title. I think it would be dope as hell. You know why? It's because I could see him being a very competitive fight for yeah. I'll get to yours in a second then, bro. But yeah, I believe he definitely did. Sorry. Okay, I'm getting lost in my train of thought. But yeah, Charles Oliveira and I think Diego Lopes would be a sick ass fight. I would love to see, not just love to see that fight, but I would love to see them in the grappling exchanges and see how that goes. I think that'd be so fascinating. And then obviously on the feet as well. I think on the feet, Charles is actually really, really good. I think he's improved as well. And I think he did really well with Max Holloway for the BMF title on the feet, but it just wasn't a long period enough for us to actually see what was going to happen eventually. But he took that momentum away from Max Holloway. All right, bro. Yeah, you're referring back to the video, right? So, yeah, in regards to DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev, you said, right here, I do believe he expected the grappling, just didn't expect it for all 25 minutes. Okay, you want Usman to win? I picked DDP to win the fight. I'm not a Kamaru Usman fan. I just think he's a little bit like lack of personality, and I think he's also like tries. I don't think he's very authentic. I think he tries to do this weird thing where he talks in a certain way, like, yeah, well, the thing is, Like, I just want a second belt. That's all I want. And I could be a 2-weight champion. I'm already number 5. Like, I think that's how he talks. Okay. Regarding Diego Lopes, up to lightweight is good division, just not straight to fighting the number 1 contender. Yeah, I think that fight with him and Arman Tsarukyan would be like competitive. I think a lot of people would not say what I just said about Arman Tsarukyan being competitive against Diego Lopes. But the reason why I say this is because Arman Tsarukyan only fought Dan Hooker last year, right? The end of last year, 2025. We're in month 7 now. This is 2026. He hasn't fought anyone this year yet. Last fight he had before that was in March of 2024 against Charles Oliveira, and Charles Oliveira had a couple, submission threats in that fight, if I'm not mistaken, with the guillotine and stuff like that. So I that's why I think that is the case in my opinion. However, I would love to see that matchup between the two of them. I do think it would be a very sick matchup between Arman Tsarukyan and Diego Lopes. I also think the Charles Oliveira one is really good. I like the Charles Oliveira rematch with Arman Tsarukyan as well. Cookie Monster is hilarious. Hey, where are the cookies, by the way? You said you want some cookies? Where are the cookies, bro? Where's the cookies? I'm waiting on those cookies, bro. 145 is so dry and depleted. Volk might reign till he's 65. I love Volkanovski, to be honest with you guys. I love if you guys watched my videos before, I love Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski is absolutely like epic. Yeah, his fights against Diego Lopes weren't as exciting, to be honest with you guys, as the previous fights that he had prior to his fight with Ortega was sick. His fight against who's that guy? Fudge nuts. Who's that? Who's that weird striker? I'm thinking about Yair Rodrigues. His fight against Yair Rodrigues was really good as well. And I like the way he defended the belt for quite a few times. I like the fact that he said adversity is a privilege. I loved like his mindset and stuff like that around it. I even like the fact that he got really vulnerable after that fight with Islam, the second one. And then on top of that, after the fact, he now goes to media and he's like, yeah, like it's not a big deal anymore. We have to take account the fact that UFC kind of sidelined him, lightweights ducked him. Only fan Dan Hooker took the fight. Arman is levels above any lightweight right now, for real. I do take that into account, and he's doing a bunch of grappling matches. He has a grappling match this weekend with Colby Covington. Oh, that's a good one to break down, by the way. I think Arman Tsarukyan gets Colby Covington in this matchup. But yeah, okay, yeah, no, I got you, Dan Hooker. Yeah, we should call him Fan Hooker, dude. That's actually a good idea. I like that. Anyways, yeah, speaking of that fight, yeah, I don't think people are ducking him. I think he's the one that's like not asking for that fight with, he was supposed to fight Mateusz Gamrot after the Charles Oliveira fight, and he turned it down. And I heard he's turned down other fights as well. I'm not sure of this. This is just like rumors, so I don't know if any of this shit's verified, but it's just like what I'm hearing and stuff like that. With it'd be cool if because he's actually teased to move down to like featherweight before. What if he did move down to featherweight? I do think that'd be cool. Arman Tsarukyan, I'm speaking of. Yeah. All right, let's get back into the video. Yeah.
It's not wrestling or grappling related. It is it's mentally related, and it's person related. It's that not everybody that fights are warriors. And that's the biggest thing that I took away from that.
What a fucking slide to Khamzat Chimaev. Not that everyone that fights are warriors. Okay, to be fair, I could kind of see that because Khamzat Chimaev, I felt like kind of gives up at times when he does face adversity, though he is incredible when he faced it against Gilbert Burns and when he faced it against Kamaru Usman. I still think he did a very decent job. I just don't agree with Dricus Du Plessis' take there. But I get what he means is more by the mentality and which I think was what he said before that. It's about the mentality and about the mindset behind it. So yeah, as Dan Hooker would say,
because it's gonna be bad,
right? So yeah. Anyways, let's carry on.
Did you see any of that kind of in Khamzat Chimaev's most recent fight? You were in Jersey for that one. I saw you there against Sean Strickland.
Yeah, I saw him try because he didn't like Strickland doesn't have that one punch knockout power that I possess. Strickland has the work rate, and Chimaev went at him. I predicted that fight. I thought Strickland would win the fight because he has such great defensive wrestling and being.
Okay, real quick. We got King McKenzie here. Said he's #1 contender, bro. He needs to be fighting for the championship. He's been the clear #1 contender for like 2 years. No, I agree with you. However, yeah, I just wish he would fight. Like I just wish he would fight more and defend his position. You know what I mean? Like I'm not arguing with you. Like he's not like worthy of the championship. I mean, I don't know. Ali Abdelaziz, didn't he put out something recently where he said Justin Gaethje's gonna fight someone he hasn't fought in the past or yet? Okay, Khamzat gassed out and went on his back after failing a takedown. So, I mean, DDP might be right. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, I think DDP is right. I just feel like that's kind of like he's just throwing shade at him for whatever reason. Just because he's like a little bit salty about losing. But yeah, I'm not like a Khamzat Chimaev fan, so I'm not trying to defend Khamzat Chimaev. I am a Sean Strickland fan, if I'm being honest. And I like DDP as well. Even though I think he lost the first fight to Sean Strickland, I still like him. I think he's funny the way he did like the Israel Adesanya. I think when he won me over was when he had that in the octagon altercation with Israel Adesanya, and the way he handled that shit to me was epic, like super epic. Oh, this interviewer does look like James Lynch. Yo, James Lynch doesn't like me, man. I threw a comment in the one of his videos when they're talking about like, the UFC White House card being political and stuff like that. And he did a video on that. And then I wrote a comment in there. And bro, these fucking bastards came after me. And I was just like, literally, bro, I'm giving you engagement. And you're like being such an asshole about it. Like, what the fuck? Like, genuinely, bro, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just reading a comment real quick. Sorry. Okay, let's get back into the video as well. But yeah, let's look at that interview again.
Able to get back up to his feet. Yeah, I think Chimaev is a guy that if he doesn't go his way, he breaks mentally. And we've seen him break physically a lot of times. I think Strickland did a great job at stopping Chimaev's initial attack or letting him go. But I mean, if you look at what Chimaev did against Strickland versus me, with Strickland, he went for the back. He went for the choke. He was trying to do things. And with me, he didn't do any of that. He was just lying there, just making sure he gets through the fight. And Strickland, for him going, and that's because he knows when he gets tired, I will finish him. And he was just, getting on top. And it was my responsibility to be able to stop those takedowns. It's 100%, But we're not talking about somebody that took me down. We're talking about a world-class wrestler that took me down.
Okay, I gotta say something because I saw this comment coming. And yeah, you said he sure lost the first fight with Strickland. Yeah, you're talking about Khamzat Chimaev, right? Just to clarify. I think. Oh fuck, man. Yeah, you said he sure lost the first round fight with Strickland. Are you referring to Khamzat Chimaev? Also, I think Strickland gets him in the second fight. If they do that, I think he gets him in the second fight for sure. I just want to make sure like the mute's not on. But yeah, I think he gets him in the second fight. I think he outclasses him in the second fight, and I think he makes it even look more dominant than the first one did. By the way, guys, how's the mic looking? Is it better? Is it better? Is it better?
And yeah, so he did enough, and but Strickland, yeah, he did great. And when Chimaev was forced to fight,
that was fascinating. By the way, what he said. He said Chimaev basically went for those submission attempts against Strickland, and he didn't do it with DDP, which, yeah, it's funny because him and Islam Makhachev did the similar thing basically in their fights.
the Warrior's way of fighting, he lost, and now we understand why he fought the way he did when he fought me.
And it sounds like you're looking at Kamaru Usman as someone who is going to fight with the Warrior's way. Is that what I would understand of that?
Well,
wait, hold on a second. Why isn't DDP calling out Khamzat Chimaev if he really dislikes him that much? That'd be interesting to see the second fight. I would actually like that. I wouldn't mind that. Do that for #1 contender if he wins this fight against Usman.
he wouldn't have a choice. You know, like I said, I fixed the problem. It's my responsibility to, if you don't want to fight the Warrior's way, I'm forcing you because I'm fighting the Warrior's way. I don't have another choice. I don't have any other ability. That's the way I'm wired. So it's my responsibility to be able to stop you from making the fight that way. And then you have to fight the fight that I want.
Does it kind of give you, because again, you kind of learned this about you. It seems like you learned something about yourself, and maybe like,
dude, this guy completely looks like James Lynch's twin brother, bro. Lost twin brother. I'll put that. That is so true, man. He does look like James Lynch's lost twin brother. I would like to see that fight in a second version of that fight.
the type of opponent you'd really like to actually be in the cage against. You know, you want someone who is looking to fight, someone who is trying to be a warrior, if I understand correctly. Are there fighters that kind of are in the orbit of the middleweight division that you look at as maybe?
Oh, bro. Sorry, I have to pause here. King McKenzie, bro. Yeah, I definitely thought he lost that first fight to Strickland, DDP. Yeah, bro, I definitely think so as well. I think Strickland got round 1, 2, and 3. I think DDP did like pull it out the bag in rounds 4 and 5. But I remember watching that and I was like, oh, thank God, like Strickland's defended the belt. And then fucking they give it to DDP. And then DDP's like face during when they were announcing the fight. I mean, he acted like he knew that he won, but he didn't seem like to be genuinely that way when he won that fight. He was like he looked very nervous about the fight being called, you know, and then nervous about the outcome of the decision. So yeah, I agree. I think DDP definitely lost that first fight with Strickland.
Not that type of person?
Yeah, I think right now where the middleweights are, there's not really some guys. I mean, who everybody understand the sport is going in a direction where there is no place for that. I mean, you can win, but it doesn't make you sellable. You know, and I believe the middleweight division right now, there's not a lot of guys who's consistently just winning and winning and winning and putting their names up. But I think the middleweight division is exciting. There's a lot of guys that are hungry, you know, all around us. Guys that are good at wrestling, good on the ground, good in the striking exchanges, and that's very exciting for the division.
Now, this fight, of course, this is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so this is an interesting comment you shared, dude. So, just for those of you watching, if DDP calls out Khamzat Chimaev, Khamzat won't accept the fight. I'm hearing basically only he wants to rematch with Strickland, which is funny because he blames his entire fight performance on the fact that he struggled with cutting weight, right? And if you struggle with cutting weight, then obviously move up, which is ironic because obviously he was at 170 at one point, which I think is also, you know, the fact that he had like the COVID thing and the whole lung situation. I think that has a bigger impact on it. I also don't think this guy, whoever he's training with, that what's that guy's name? TJ Dillashaw glazes him all the time. Let me look it up real quick. TJ Dillashaw. Cardio coach. What's that guy's name? Sam Calavita. Yeah, dude, I think this guy is just getting glazed for no reason. I think Sam Calavita is paying these motherfuckers for like to glaze him basically, like in regards to like TJ Dillashaw or TJ Dillashaw or Khamzat Chimaev, Arman Tsarukyan. I disagree with DDP. 185 is not exciting. 170 is far superior. Dude, 170 is fucking cracking, bro. I actually did a video not too long ago where I ranked like all the I'll show you guys real quick. I basically ranked every UFC division, and I fucking loved welterweight, and I got that from Mary Fan Words as well. Shout out to him. But yeah, also a quick shout out to King Mackenzie TV. Go ahead and check him out on X. Let me just quickly look it up real quick. So if you go to King Mackenzie TV, at King Mackenzie TV on Twitter, you guys can go ahead and just follow him there. Let me show you right here. So yeah, go ahead and give him a follow. Yeah, he's one of my bros. It's pretty awesome, dude. And he posts really good stuff as well, which is why I'm saying it. That being said, let's go back into it. Oh wait, hold on. One of you guys left a comment. Oh yeah, you disagree with DDP? Yeah, I remember that. Okay, cool.
Oklahoma City. I believe you're probably boots on the ground in Oklahoma now, correct?
Yeah, I have been for almost 2 weeks almost.
So obviously, when you've been fighting in the United States, because you've been fighting internationally as well, obviously you're a South African, you've typically fought in Las Vegas, but your last fight was in Chicago. Now you're in the Midwest again in Oklahoma City. What's it been like kind of for you experiencing some different parts of the United States?
Yeah, I mean, it's very different here in Oklahoma. It reminds me a little bit more about of home. I really enjoy it. The people are extremely friendly. The food looks amazing. I can't wait to try it. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's almost country, and that's great for me. That's great. It's a lot more chill than a Vegas or a Chicago, which is good. I mean, I'm here to do a job, and I'm not here for the big bright lights of the streets. I'm here for the big bright lights of the arena, and that looks incredible. I was in the arena watching WWE on Friday. Massive, it's a big arena, 18,000 seater. It looks great. So that's what I'm here for.
Sure. And of course, we've known you as a guy who keeps a pretty regular schedule, right? Like we've seen you fight 2 fights a year for the last decade outside of the COVID year. That was a very strange year for a lot of reasons, right? How did it feel kind of taking all of this time off, these 11 months since that Chimaev fight? What were like the pros and cons for you?
Yeah, I think it was, pros was we got to work, every day. It wasn't taking off. It was just not competing. It was I was supposed to compete a little bit earlier, got a little injury, and we had to sort that out. And this is the fight that came about. But obviously, I wasn't too fond of staying away from the octagon that long. It was, it's because training every day. I love it, getting better, loved it. But why I do this is to dance under the bright lights, to be, go and showcase to the world. I'm a gladiator. I want the crowd to go crazy. Whether they're booing or cheering, I want the noise. I want to go and face someone on my level, face someone who wants to kill me just as much as I want to kill them.
That's fighting words right there, bro. Holy shit. He wants to kill someone as much as they want to kill him. That's pretty dope. I like DDP's mentality. And I also like his the way I just like the way he carries himself.
And I know you want to get too far ahead of yourself. You have a job to do this weekend first before you can really worry too much. But is there any party that still wants to get a second fight in 2026? Keep that 2 a year kind of streak going.
Yeah, maybe. I'm getting married in October, and we'll see what happens after that. That's the we'll see after that. After this fight, that's my main priority, and then we'll see what happens after that.
I'm sure your fiance loves to hear that, first off. But, before we go to, I want to ask you, and I'll borrow a word from Conor McGregor here. You have sunned Sean Strickland twice in your career. You got 2 wins over him, no losses. But, now, obviously, through this little kind of competitive triangle between you, him, and Chimaev, you're chasing him for the championship if you've never lost to him. Would you settle for anything less than being able to get that chance to go 3-0 against him in your next fight? If everything goes right, of course, this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this weekend's it's not about winning that's going to get me the title shot. It's about performing. It's about going out there and stating that there is no other middleweight that deserves that title shot. But I'm never begging for a title shot. I never have. Every time I earn what I want. I'm not making noise. A lot of guys do that. They just make noise the whole time.
You gotta make some noise, DDP, bro. You gotta make some noise.
I'm like, I deserve the shot. They get people to rally behind them. I'm not like that. I don't need anything. I will fight and prove why I deserve the shot. And that's how I've always done it, and that's how I'll do it. I will erase any doubt that I need to fight for that belt next.
Good job, mate. Good job. Good fucking job, yeah? Anyways, let's get back into Kamaru Usman, who also did an interview with the same channel, had a different interviewer as well. Let's hear what the Nigerian Nightmare, sorry, I don't know why I said it weird like that, has got to say.
How close do you think that Islam Makhachev fight was one of the more interesting ones to me at middleweight? How close was that to coming to fruition for you? I mean, I think it would have been an interesting little matchup for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were that was gonna be for the welterweight title, and I think it would have been a great fight. I think when have you ever had current pound for pound against the former pound for pound fighting and at the same weight class? Usually there's like a shift there where there's maybe a 2-3 weight classes in between, to where we never get to see those happen. And they had a chance to potentially make that happen, and unfortunately they had other plans. So
hey, real quick, guys, if you haven't given a like to the video, please do give a like to the video. We've had quite a few people on. I just want to get more likes on the video, if you don't mind. Please, thank you.
It is what it is. We just kind of roll with the punches, and whenever one door closes, another one opens. So here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. That obviously next month, I believe we're looking at Ian Gary versus Islam Makhachev. How do you see that fight playing out, in your opinion?
I think it's like, listen, any fight at the top of all these divisions are great fights. And it's not just about the skill. What skill or one skill that this person possesses. I think a lot goes into that. And then wills, you have to talk about someone's will, and then someone's spiritual capabilities, how much they're willing to handle in there. And so it's an interesting fight. I think obviously Islam is good and is very dominant with what he does. And not just that, Ian is also pretty good at what he does. Ian is able to kind of just evade and evade the fight, being really in the thick of a fight, and just staying on the outside and moving and moving and moving. And yes, to some that might seem boring, but he gets the job done with what he does. So it's an interesting fight. If Islam get his hands on him, it's very interesting. If Islam could stay away and move around, it's going to be very interesting as well.
The face-off for you, I just saw, as well, I was on my phone right before this interview. Face-off with you and Dricus looked pretty intense. Maybe walk me through that. Like, what did you see when you were looking at him? As I was wearing the cowboy hat, what did you see?
Yeah, I was actually going to wear my cowboy hat as well, but I didn't have it on me, so I didn't bring it. But no, it's of course he wants to bring a certain level of intensity and all of that, But it is what it is. I'm kind of been there. I've done that. That doesn't help you when you're in there fighting. So it's, you just look at him and he looks at you, and you try to get a feel for each other's spirit. And yes, he's feeling good. He's feeling confident. And I have to respect that and go out and do my job on Saturday.
Yeah, dude, Usman's got like a really big challenge up in front of him, in my opinion, especially against like Dricus Du Plessis. Yeah, and by the way, we're going to be ending soon, just so you know, probably after this interview thing. I actually was going to end it sooner, but then I stayed on because more people were joining, and I was like, oh, cool. I haven't actually done a live at this time, so actually now recognize that it's probably a better time for me to do it. But then I do have to do a little thing for my work afterwards. So anyways, yeah, I think when it comes to DDP versus like Kamaru Usman, I think Kamaru Usman just needs to kind of like slow him down essentially and try to control the pace with his like jab, right? With Dricus Du Plessis, I think he just needs to embrace the chaos, so to speak, use his anti-wrestling and test like Kamaru Usman's gas tank. And I I think Kamaru Usman really needs to use like the heavy clinch and control and some of the body work as well. Throw some early shots to the body and really just focus on dictating that pace with his jab. So that's kind of like my path to victory for both of these fighters, which is where I broke down that he will possibly win by third round. Yeah, this is exactly what I said about Usman being fancy on the mic. Yeah, this is what he does, bro. He just cringes me out. Anyways, let's go.
Yeah. So Dricus obviously coming off the loss. Khamzat Chimaev took him down 12 times. You famously fought Khamzat Chimaev as well. Probably had the best performance anyone had against him, besides obviously the Sean Strickland performance last time out. So what did you...
Real quick, actually, I just want to say one more thing about your comment. Because, yeah, I said this earlier about, like, Usman talking, like, all fancy and, like, hey, man, like, I just want to be two world champion. I think I'm the best of all. I'm the best of all time. Yeah. I'm the G here. I think he has such like he has like this, and we all do this, right? We all have this thing where we kind of perform, I guess, in front of other people or whatever the case is. But I think with like Usman, it's like you can recognize that easily. And I think also what he's doing is he's trying to portray himself as he wants us to portray him, which is where it comes from. And I think also it's a lot of his ego as well, because if you think about the whole beef between him and Bilal Muhammad basically said that he said something to him, like, you're no longer the champion or something like that. And then all of a sudden, Kamaru Usman started crying. And honestly, I would hate to not see that fight. I don't know why the UFC didn't push that fight, or why Kamaru Usman wouldn't like release the footage, or at least let us see that fight. But fuck, man, like now that you got like Bilal Muhammad on that like losing streak, is just tough, man. But it would have been nice to see that fight. And also, like Usman said as well, like he goes, oh, I'm on a different trajectory than Bilal Muhammad, which, in fair play and seeing what's happened now, that is kind of true. But at the time when all the shit went down, it was like Bilal Muhammad just won the championship, defeat the guy who Kamaru Usman lost to twice. You know what I mean? And in regards to Leon Edwards, I don't know if you guys watch Bedtime MMA, by the way, but when he does like the imitations of Leon Edwards, so funny, dude. All right, anyways, let's go.
Did you see with Dricus Du Plessis and why?
Sorry, not imitation, impression.
Khamzat Chimaev, and why do you think he struggled in a way that you didn't in that fight?
Well, I mean, it's there's just one skill that Khamzat has that's just Dricus just couldn't deal with. A guy that big that could get a hold of you, get to your legs and take you down. And it's just something that if you haven't.
Real quick, have you guys noticed that all these UFC fighters have these meta glasses? I don't know if they're getting them from the UFC. Yeah, Bilal's no more bueno. Yo, Bilal should be donated donated to the UFC. Sorry, to the PFL. That's funny. Actually, you know what? It wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad idea. They're middleweight. Wait, he's at welterweight. Yeah. Hey, if he went up to middleweight and fought in the PFL, I think it would actually be pretty dope. Although I don't see him beating Eblin. But Castelo Ventines is the current champion in the PFL. They have the fight actually this weekend in Austin, Texas. I was trying to get tickets for that. And they're actually like on 25% off, but I just decided not to go. And then my friend wanted to go to Oklahoma City because his girlfriend from South Africa is visiting. And so he wanted to go there and try and see if we could catch up with Dricus Du Plessis to watch the fight over there. I've never been to Oklahoma City, but then he also wanted me to drive. And I was like, I don't mind. However, I do need to get new tires, and I also need to get my oil change done. And yeah, I don't even know how far the fucking fight, how far the drive would be. So yeah.
Spent that time in those positions that you're going to have a hard time with. And that's not something new for Dricus. It's always kind of been a thing. I mean, if you go back and watch some of his fights, fight with Derek Brunson and some of these, he's always struggled with like wrestlers. But I'm not banking on that, because it's not just that. You have to not just fight the skill, you have to fight their spirit as well. And that's one thing that Dricus does do very well, is that he tries to stay in the fight. the best way possible. So, it's my job to go in there and try to break that spirit.
That's gonna be the thing that I think like Usman. I don't know how Usman can do. I don't know how Usman can actually break his spirit in that particular fight. I think they get paid to promote the meta glasses. Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind one either. Yeah, the one that Holloway had that he was wearing, I thought was really cool. I actually didn't know those were meta glasses until I saw the footage afterwards of him walking up to Conor McGregor. So yeah, I do think they're dope as fuck. I just want to see real quick how much they are. Hold on 1 second. Let's check it out. Meta glasses. So you can do payments on them, like 32 a month or whatever. You can try them on virtually as well. They have a lot of selection, which is dope, honestly. Yeah, I think for my next pair, I would get like those Ray-Ban. Let me show you guys. I would get like these Ray-Bans right here. That'd be dope. Because these are Ray-Bans already, but these have like the orange on the side. Which I just wanted new glasses when I got these. Which is back in like Mexico. These are nice too, actually. I actually like these more. These are actually dope. I would actually get something like that. It depends on how it looks, to be honest, but yeah, if it looked nice, I would get that. And let's get back to this.
How do you view his title reign at middleweight? Obviously, he had the split decision win against Strickland, submitted Israel Adesanya, and then the rematch with Sean, and then the loss to Khamzat. How do you view that title reign for him?
It was good, quick, but it was good. I mean, when you're a champion, it's just being able to defend and stay there is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And so if anytime you're able to get there and then you're able to defend, and of course, financially it makes sense. It's a good thing. So anytime you're able to do that, I'm sure it was great for him. But now the tough part is once you're knocked off of that, how do you scrape your way back? So, I'm going to go out there and show him that it's a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, I liked DDP. I thought. I don't think Imavov gets the next title fight. I think they're gonna. I think the issue is as well, like he declined the fight against Khamzat Chimaev because apparently they're from like the same similar like place, and so that's why. Yeah. Yeah, that clip was from Max was dope as fuck. Connor trashed that shit though, and Dana stole it. Yeah, Dana picked it up right away, and I think Dana took it and was the one who released that footage, by the way. But I'm pretty sure Dana White will give him a new pair. Knowing Dana White, I think he'd give him a new pair. Hopefully he does. Anyways, that was funny though. I like the body armor that Max Holloway wore coming out as well. I thought that was pretty fucking dope. He looked like what's that fucking game? He looked like one of those characters in one of those games that my brother plays. I forgot the fucking name, man. All right, I'm drawing blanks a lot. All right, let's go.
A really fun fight. I'm really excited for it.
Pause.
I mean, you're six title defenses or 6 title fights.
Yes.
And you're kind of a legend at welterweight. Do you see yourself going back down to welterweight at any point, or is welterweight cooked for you at this point? You stick a middleweight?
No, absolutely. I'm a moneyweight fighter right now. So if it's up at middleweight, then I'm there.
I'm a moneyweight fighter. I got so much money to fight Hawakan Buckley. Yeah.
If it's at welterweight, then I'm there. Of course, I would still love that title, but it is what it is. Right now, we're on Dricus and we're
Dude, this fucking saying's been like the saying for the whole like past 2 weeks now. It is what it is.
focus on getting this done and then potentially what's next in the future.
Speaking of money, this past weekend, we saw Conor McGregor go out. 69 seconds, blew out his leg. It looks like we're not sure exactly what the reporting is on what that injury is actually going to be. But I got to ask, and be remiss to ask, not your thoughts on the UFC 3.
Yo, this guy's eyes look weird. I just noticed that, by the way. Hey, what is this? PUBG? PUBG? Who the fuck is PUBG? PUBG, come on, brother. Okay, sorry, I'm retarded.
29 fight main event, and obviously
Oh, this guy must be taking some serious crack. Holy shit.
the Conor McGregor injury.
Yeah, of course it's tough, obviously for the company because there was a lot that went into that, a lot of promotion, a lot of heavy hitters there for that. It's tough for them, but it's also tough for someone like Conor. Conor needed this. That's why he came back into this. Not just in the fighting aspect, but it's part of who he is. And so I felt a little bit for him not being able to go out there and actually showcase that, because anytime someone makes it into the cage, they've gone through hell in training to get there. So for him to get there and not be able to perform is kind of sucked. And it also sucked for Max as well, because Max did the work and Max wanted to get into a fist fight. But yeah, it sucks, but here this is the test. This is the test of character. Is how are you able to potentially build back and get back in here? So, time will tell.
Yeah, dude, I have sympathy for Conor McGregor as well with that fight. Obviously, I love Conor McGregor, so I'm gonna say that he's the one who got me into the sport. I found out about the UFC watching his highlights on Instagram reels, and PUBG is the name of that game you're saying. The jacket that Max basically had on was a kick stream PUBG jacket, so that's pretty dope. I'm not familiar with that, but I do love that. Like I love the way he wore that. I thought it was dope as hell. The game I was thinking about was actually I think something else, but I just can't seem to fucking remember the name. I don't want to call my brother up, but like yeah, yeah. Okay, let's get back into this. We're almost done here, anyways. And yeah, I know a lot of people want to say shit about Conor McGregor, but bro, like it takes a lot of courage to get back in that octagon. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As being at the event, I was at the event. Paddy Pimblett had quite the pop when he walked out there. What can you tell? What can you say about just like the popularity of Paddy Pimblett, his performance? Obviously, gets the quick submission on Benoit Saint-Denis. Any thoughts there?
BSD is a retard.
Yeah, I mean, Patty was the man of the night, obviously, because it's always people just tend to gravitate from one where that's just kind of themselves, it's honest, and of course it helps when you have an accent like that. So it's but the biggest thing too is like everyone always counts this guy out, including myself. And this guy goes out there and makes it happen. And I think that's what adds to his mystique and why he's growing more and more. But I love it. I love to see it. I love the fact that he was able to go out there and still prevail. Because even myself, I originally picked Saint-Denis to be able to go out there and potentially get that victory. But Paddy Pimblett said no to that, and he was able to make it happen.
Yeah, that Paddy Pimblett fight, guys, I did a video on that as well. My reaction to the fight was insane. I actually added some like visual commentary to it as well. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Paddy. Paddy is a baddie. Let's go. But yeah, you guys should definitely watch that video as well. By the way, click the like button down below if you haven't already. You do have to click out X the what's it called, the live comments and stuff like that to be able to do it. But do hit the like button. We're almost done in here, by the way. Anyways, however, yeah, just do that for me. I really appreciate it. Just helps the channel out. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. We're at 166. I much appreciate it. And thank you guys for the support as well. And we try to do big things here, bro. We try to do big things here. All right, no worries. See you, King Mackenzie, bro. You're good. I'll catch up with you afterwards as well. Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would ask for a prediction for your Dricus Du Plessis fight. Do you have one that you're willing to offer up?
Well, I mean, no, just at the end of the day, it's about doing what I do best, and that's dominating. So as long as I can go in there and dominate from start to finish, then I've done my job.
Absolutely. Well, Kamaru, I appreciate you jumping on with me.
Yeah, I think as long as his knees don't give out, he should be muy bien. Okay, that being said, guys, thank you. It's been like almost 2 hours since I've been live. I do gotta catch up on some other stuff. I haven't posted any short videos today, so I'm gonna do that as well. But thank you guys for all the love on here. We got like 388 reactions from on the video itself, on the live stream itself. I might be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm not too sure yet. I do have to figure out my schedule. But I'm gonna be doing a live stream possibly tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna be doing a live fight companion. Now, recently I did it for the full fight card. Dude, okay, yeah, let me get into that in a second. Recently, I did it for the full fight card for the UFC 329. I did it from like early prelims all the way to prelims, all the way to like main card, and I was just super exhausted. So what I'm gonna do going forward is I'm gonna do it for, I believe, the main card. For this one, I might just do it for the prelims and the main card as well. But don't forget to like subscribe so you don't miss it. And also just like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe. And then also in regards to that comment, so Paddy versus Ilia is the biggest fight the UFC can make right now. I agree with that 100% wholeheartedly. I actually made a video on this. Wait, did I make a video on this? Yes, I did a live stream. I did a live stream on this particular topic right here, and I went over it and I kind of shared, some of my friends' sentiment on X as well. But yeah, it's just right here. UFC matchmaking book, Paddy versus Ilia now. Paddy the Baddy. Yeah, dude, I would love to see that fight like immediately. I think that's the best fight for them to book. I think the issue with that is that Paddy's gonna get fat now, and then we're gonna have that issue, and then he'll have to come back. I also think I don't know how much time, like both of these fighters don't fight that much or fight that long, so I don't know how much time these fighters are gonna need to come back. But I think that's gonna be the biggest issue here, is those guys coming back to the octagon. And then once they do, I think if they do book that fight, I think it'd be like pay-per-view worthy, because the beef that these guys have would be incredible. Let me know in the comments if you guys have a prediction for that fight before we go. But I do think Paddy's size, I think, is just too much. Yeah, that's sort of my opinion there. I did share like a bunch of comments because I put that out on my X earlier to like this week. I put basically a bunch of stuff about that fight and my predictions, and I had some other friends as well share that with me. Follow me on X if you haven't already, but you can definitely see it there. And we talked about it like back and forth quite a bit. So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on X, that'd be great. Leave me a comment in the comment section right now about your prediction for Paddy versus Ilia, and then we'll go ahead and end the stream right now after that. Oh, by the way, who's confused about the statement that Cody Garbrandt left? Because I am so confused. I think he's staying, but he said basically there are moments in life when hope fades and the weight of endless problems makes the path unclear. But remember this: you only lose when you choose to give up. Let your struggles be your fuel, not your downfall. Don't let the storm break you. Let it strengthen your will to rise and keep fighting. And I think he's gonna continue fighting, but he didn't look good in that. I mean, he did actually look good in that fight. It was just the chin didn't hold up. He's got a glass chin, unfortunately, at this point. He's definitely got a glass chin. I wish he could just call it a day, really. He's good. He's really, really good, but yeah. It looks like was this no, that was July 18th. Never mind. We got the France versus England coming up. Looks like. Or am I mistaken? Anyways, fuck it. Anyways, I was trying to look at the stuff over here, but let's go ahead and stop this or put a pause on this, or end this here. Go ahead and leave me any comments you like. Go ahead and check out the old videos I put out as well. And yeah, if you have any constructive criticism, go ahead and like comment on one of those videos. I appreciate it.